are taking points. I hope we are taking things out. Can we do a quick vibe check again? Best music!
Best song!
Best music!
Best song!
Alright, thank you very much. You can begin to prepare your questions now. Very shortly, we'll be calling for questions. You can either put them down in writing or you request for the mic and we'll give it to you. But before then, let's talk to you, Mr. Julius Afolabi again. Tell us, what are some practical steps that can be taken towards achieving financial stability and eliminating financial stress? I know you had outlined some of them already, but just go over it again and possibly add some more. And also you talked about debts. You know, how can one manage debts in such a way that it doesn't overwhelm you and take you back to the problem you are trying to avoid, which is financial stress? Because sometimes we run into debt so much that it overwhelms us and it becomes a financial burden on its own.
All right. Some of the practical steps you can take in achieving financial stability. When we talk about stability, we are saying that you're able to meet your necessary demands as and when due. Right? You're stable. No victim, no vanquish. And you're not open to some risk that you cannot manage. Right? That's when you can say you're financially stable. You're stable because you don't, in business, you don't have to be in the shop for business to continue. You're financially stable. You might earn 1.5 million naira, and if your expense is 1 million naira, all you have to play around with is 500,000. If you lose your job in 2 months, you can only survive for 1 month. Why? Because your expense pattern is 1 million and you earn 1.5. So at most, in 2 months, you are able to save 500,000 if you are that disciplined, right? And so if you lose your job after 2 months, you can only survive for 1 month, right? So you can see the gap between your survival and your stability. So that means after 1 month, you go bankrupt. You go to zero. People will not even be able to recognize you. Why? And the reason is because of, well, your lifestyle. So to a large extent, what creates balance is this. Either you reduce your cost or you increase your income. Some people, Robert Kiyosaki will say, financial freedom is not about how much you earn, but how well and hard how much you earn is working for you without you having to work extra. That's the sincere truth. So you have that at the back of your mind. Like for now, minimum wage is maximum frustration. Like we said, environment matters a lot. If you go to Lagos, it's a land of stress and opportunity. You've got to do your validation first. What am I going there to do? If let's say a lizard in Nigeria will not be a crocodile in Australia. You must have learned how to be a crocodile in Australia, in Nigeria, before you land there. Are we together? So, changing environment, you must know your environment. Somewhere along parliamentary extension here, a woman sells fufu, just normal fufu, with no soup, just ordinary fufu like that, no soup, those laborers there. And net seen about 6,000 per day. Are we together? There's another person, a compound. You're just sitting down, not doing anything. Almost every day, people ask, please, I want to buy a camel. I want to buy a camel. On a daily basis, in like 3 or 4 weeks in a row, people kept asking, I want to buy a camel. Do you need a prophet to tell you to start selling a camel? Are we together? So that's about adjustment, right? So the environment where you belong determines what you sell. Right? You can't have a cockroach farm in Nigeria, but you can do that in China. Are we together? You can't sell the dog in a mosque. Are we together? So you look at your environment. What are people looking for in my environment? Okay, if you're a Christian, look at it this way. Again, if you read your Bible very well in Matthew chapter 6 down, right? And the later part of it, it talked about, it said, there are some things you should not bother about. Right? What you will eat, what you will drink, where you put your head, where to stay, where to live. Can I tell you, those are where financial pressure comes from, but those are also what? Business opportunities. Those are the businesses that will never die. No matter how hard as he had, people will chop. Me and you will not walk naked. Right? So the basic things that people cannot do without on a daily basis are places where you can what? Thrive into. You have gifts. There are things you do naturally. Today is easier to make money than in my generation, right? Like in the generation of the CEO here now, you can't compare their generation with your generation, right? In fact, 35 years of service, what they will pay them as severance and pension, this man here can make it under 1 year. All he needs is a good copywriting skill, a sellable product, and a link. He goes to the internet. He doesn't need to hawk physically. He can take advantage of the internet. So that simply means that if you are working in a particular on a job, don't wait to expire on the job. There are a lot of people, before you graduate, you can expire before you graduate. Are we together? And you might have been sacked while still going to work. Are we together? Because you don't have transferable skills. So skills, talent, creativity. Today is creativity, talent, and distribution. Go to YouTube today. You'll find movies that they probably released in like 1 hour. You have over 1 million views, right? And look at that movie. It's not more than 4 or 5 actors in one location about a story. Are we together? So you see it now. Limited resources, but what? Widely distributed to what? Attract a lot of income. So that's on the income side. About expense. Review, audit your expense. What am I? You need to check the difference between what you can afford and what you need. There are many people that don't need iPhone, but can afford iPhone. This is my Android, right? Every day, I write not less than 3,000 words per day. If I want to print an ebook today, I can just go to my phone like this. You have an expensive phone, the phone is smarter than you. Are we together?
Right answer.
So you can see it. So those are the areas in your life you're going to share. What exactly am I doing that is working that I'm not doing enough? What am I supposed to be doing that I am not doing? Because I'm lazy, laid back, and lackadaisical about what will move me forward. A lot of people have been procrastinating. There are many of you that want to start business here, waiting for capital. No, you need capital sense before capital. You understand? Now, doctor was talking about the money is not enough. How do you save? To a large extent, yes, it's difficult. But it's not the amount you save, it's the culture of savings. Because if you don't learn how to save 500, to save 50,000 will be hard. Are we together? If you cannot manage 5,000, 50,000 can't help you. Are we together? When I wanted to get married, it was the decoration. The caterer and everything, they say decoration and cake, say 330K. This was in 2009. Are we together? 330,000. My wife then, she was working in Lagos. I'm here in Calabar. Are we together? Say 330K for 2-hour decoration. Babe, check out. I don't get that money. Are we together? I don't get that money. Both of us were working. And we agreed that we are not going to bother anybody to contribute 1 dime for the wedding. Are we together? Today itself is even cheaper to wed. The marriage is more expensive than the wedding. That's what many people don't know. Right? And without finance, there is no romance. Are we together? So I just told her that. She said, I want my marriage to be this and that and all that. I said, babe, I get 80K. Anything we pass 80K, forget her. For her front there, inside the hotel, I called my parents and I said, hold on anything you are doing about this wedding until you hear from me. So she knew I was serious. Right? So she said, okay, give me the 80K. I'll add the money. Say, be the work, I have money, add down. That's my own part. Do you understand? So that's about cutting down your expenses. Stop subscribing to channels you are not working. You are not watching. You are wasting your money. Are we together? So you must have a way of managing your expenses. Know what you need, know what you can afford. Don't compare yourself. Mom was talking about something here. I was firstborn. I don't have any responsibility. I had a colleague who was lastborn. So he buys the latest shoes and the nicest perfumes. I can't afford that. I bought my first phone after working for about 7 years. Are we together? My responsibility was not his responsibility. So I can't compare with him. Are we together? So that is about practical ways. Find what you can do, right? Business is about finding solutions, solving problems, providing services. Look for service gaps. In your area, you're a young guy, you just graduate, and there are many, your first class certificate, you can't give it to a transport, to Bolt, to move from here to Unica. So the certificate is as useless as the paper. So it's the practical application of what you learned that is the real certificate. So there's real money, and there's paper money, there's practical money. Are we together? So that I don't take much of our time about debts. Now, there is positive debt, there's negative debt. Don't borrow to spend on liabilities. Borrow to invest in assets. You want to do a business and you want to borrow money. Ensure that you have validated that that business can pay back the money that you are borrowing. How do you know that? You are not driven by everybody is doing it. That's why you want to do it. No, is it what I can do in a different way that will make people pay me better than they're already paying others? Are we together? That's the basis. You must have a unique selling proposition. You have a unique ability about what you want to do. Everybody is starting POS. What will make your own POS stand different? What other complementary things can you add to the POS that will augment for the price you are paying so that you are at a better advantage than somebody just doing it ordinarily? Here in Calabar, here, you can sell 1 corn and 3 pear at most 300, 500 naira. In Lekki, you buy it for 30K. Are we together? But this tease is different. Are we together? So if you are currently on a debt or you are owing, right, and you are getting overwhelmed by it, now let me share a secret with you. Even if you're owing the bank, show up at the bank. Don't be running away. Show up and make it clear that you are interested in doing what? In paying back the money. And as things improve, if it is you're supposed to be paying 10,000 and it's 1,000 that you have, be paying the 1,000. What happens is that what they're looking at your reputation and character, that you will be able to pay if you have more money to that. What a lot of people do is you stop taking the person's call, you stop dodging them, they will now be looking for you with police. Do you understand? And the bad thing is that when they take you to police station, even the bank does not want to go to court. Because if they go to court, you get judgments that what? Are you willing to pay? Yes. Are you owing? Yes. Right now, can you pay? No. How much can you afford to be paying per day? Only 1,000 naira. So the bank too does not want to go to court. Are we together? So show up and tell them that this is the situation. I know I am owing, but this is the situation. You understand? And as your finances improve, look for your high interest debt to pay first. I can be owing somebody 50K and another person 100K. Now the person I'm owing 50K, I'm going to pay him 20% interest. The person I'm owing 100K, right? I am not paying him interest. It's my friend. What do I do? If I have 50,000 to pay, how am I going to share this 50,000 to balance it? Right? I would rather pay this guy 40K and pay this man 10,000. I beg, no verse. If you don't collect that, pay this guy the 50,000 while you manage this particular person, right? Because if you decide to pay this man 50,000, before you pay the second 50,000, this man's 50,000 has turned to 150. You are not better than where you started from. So look for the high interest paying and pay those ones first, and ensure that what you are paying while you. So don't multiply your debts. Are we together? So that is what you should do in terms of managing debt. Make efforts to do what? To pay. Show up and not what? As much as possible, don't borrow to invest on liabilities. Some people borrow money to put in schemes. Are we together? You can't borrow money to put in what you are not sure of. Borrow money to gamble. You multiply your body. Are we together? Because you are not sure. It's uncertain. So that's exactly how to look at it. And when you are investing too, be very careful. Some people borrow to invest. The investment is not the sweetness or the juiciness of the rate of return. No. It's the security of your capital and the certainty of the interest. Are we together? Have you done research about the person that is asking you, bring 2 people, to bring 2 people, to bring 2 people? Yes, network, I like it. You will learn a lot of skill. But what I used to say is that train, do it for 1 year. Develop how to convince people. Invest it in what you want to do. Start your own business and introduce that skill of persuading people to buy. So as much as possible, if you are not creating products, right, either digital or physical, Because without trade, I'm telling you, you can't thrive. That's the thing. And you will not breathe if you are not productive. So you have to look for something to sell. You create something to sell that others, that you don't need. Create value for others outside yourself. That's how to make money. Money is the reward for solving problems. So if you're not solving problems, you can't earn money. If you're not selling something, nobody will pay you. There are only few people that should pay you money. But if you create value, people will happily pay you. So that's what you can do. Not necessarily your own product. You can become an affiliate. Right? You can sell on the behalf of somebody else. The internet makes it a lot easier. So whatever you are doing now, whether old school or new school, learn the skills of today so that you won't expire today before you get to tomorrow. Thank you.
Interesting. Don't borrow to spend on liabilities. This is very valuable information that you pay good money to get, and you're getting it free of charge. Please put your hands together once again for Mr. Afolabi. All right, over to you, Dr. Fon.